First story. Mom dated a new guy and pushed OP to build a relationship with him. Now he sought OP and gave her STIs after Dr. G-ing her. It turns out he tricked OP's mom into dating him, seeing OP's pic with her mom on her dating profile. I 14F am kind of confused if I'm in the wrong here. I'm leaning towards that I am, but I want someone else's opinion. My mom started dating a new guy like 6-ish months ago, and I honestly never really liked him. I don't know how to explain it other than he just gives me weird vibes. I've been trying to be nice, though, because my mom likes him, and I want her to be happy. He's been trying to make an effort with me, I think. He'll send me texts throughout the day and pictures. He tells me I'm smart and stuff too, which is nice. But I don't know. I'm just kind of uncomfortable with it. My mom says he's just being nice, but I don't know. Anyway, my birthday was a couple of days ago, and he got me a really expensive necklace. He also gave me a ticket to a show that I've been wanting to go see, and he said he has the other one, and that we should go together. I just felt like it was too much, and I told him that I was really grateful, but that I couldn't accept them. He got really mad, and he said that he already spent the money, so I should just take it and go with him. But I really didn't want to. It ended with him yelling at me, and me basically running away to my bedroom. My family thinks I was too mean, and that he's just trying to bond with me. I don't know. Ada. Relevant comments. Awabid 9705. NTA. Even if you don't know why you feel uncomfortable, please trust your gut. OP. I guess I just worry I'm overthinking. I mean, he is really nice. He gives me snacks and stuff a lot, and he tells me I'm smart and pretty and stuff. I don't know. Marathonerbit 69. Just FYI, this detail just pretty much confirmed your gut reaction for the adults in the room. This is inappropriate conversation, and as innocent as it might seem, it mirrors common grooming scripts. I think that if you have the opportunity to get distance by staying with someone other than your mom, or by convincing your mom to help you set boundaries and enforce them, then you should. But really, you need to get out of there. OP. Grooming. I don't know if it's that serious. Even if I wanted to, there's not really anywhere I could go other than my grandparents' place. My dad isn't in the picture. Besides, my mom would never put me in danger. I don't think she'd be dating him if he wasn't someone I could trust. Annabelle. Your mother is bamboozled by him. He is probably love bombing her. OP. I never really understood love bombing. Is being affectionate a bad thing? I don't want my mom to get hurt by him. Reference Afraid 15139. Being affectionate isn't a bad thing. Being overly affectionate is. Example. Spending time with your partner and surprising them with flowers once in a while is nice. Getting flowers or gifts every single day is too much. I can't say for 100% certain he is planning to groom you. But I will say that you should always trust your gut, because something is clearly off. And that volatile reaction he had is proof. Normal people don't get mad when you won't accept a gift, especially when you barely know them. I can also say it's very not normal to regularly text your partner's kid multiple times a day, unless there is an active conversation, for example, what time you need picked up from school, or if the family is planning an event. A high amount of compliments is also abnormal. At minimum, this man is trying way too hard to gain your trust. Please remain wary, and try to never be alone with him. You're 14. You've known him barely 6 months. He has no reason to be alone with you, unless he has to transport you somewhere for your mom, like if something happens, and he has to bring you to the hospital. And there should be zero detours. Also, always keep your phone on you, and don't hesitate to at least audio record any weird interactions you have with him. Please protect yourself. There are plenty of parents who don't realize a partner is dangerous to themselves or their kid until it's too late. Worthad 13223. Going to a concert is an intimate thing. Yeah, there are lots of other people around, but it's something that happens late in the evening. You'll be traveling to and from the concert alone. There are just so many opportunities for lascivious behavior. He might be a straight-up guy, nothing negative or suspicious, but why would he not get a ticket for your mom, too? Why just you and him? Why not give the second ticket to your mom? Why does he want to spend several hours alone with you? It's possible there are very good and right answers to all these questions, likely, even. But it does make one pause and think of the negative possibilities. OP is asked about how many gifts she's been given, and how much alone time she's spent with him. She says he frequently buys her mom gifts, and also gifts for her. It's definitely a thing for him. He'll bring me back gifts from their dates all the time too. He says he doesn't want me to feel left out. My mom thinks it's sweet, and sometimes she'll joke that he likes me more than her, but I don't see that. Anyway, I have spent some time alone with him. One weekend my mom had to go away for an emergency, and she left me at home and had him check up on me. I don't think anything particularly weird or creepy happened, though I ended up sleeping through most of it, which was a little weird because I don't normally nap. I'm getting off topic. The point being, I'm fine being alone with him for a bit. I just would prefer not to be. So maybe you're right. I should have a conversation with my mom. Adema 6969. Whoa. Was it a slow onset of being tired and groggy? Or did it just kind of happen pretty fast? OP. I don't really remember. I just remember him coming over, making lunch for me, and then getting really tired. I thought it was kind of weird because I fell asleep on the couch instead of actually going to bed. But I figured it had just been a long week. Why? Frederick Fui. He might have drugged you. He might have been testing how long you would be out before you woke up, so he would know for next time. If you ever wake up and parts of your body are sore that were not sore when you went to sleep, you may have been drugged. OP. That, huh? I remember feeling really wrong when I woke up afterwards. I was hurting too, but I thought I had just slept wrong because I was on the couch and not in bed. I don't know if I want to think about this. Adema 6969. Sweetheart, when you woke, was the hurting in your neck with a bit of stiffness, kind of like you had a hangover? I know it's only words of a stranger, but you need to tell your mother immediately. If not for you, then for the next little girl he targets. OP. I've never had a hangover before, but I remember that I had a headache when I woke up. I also felt super tired and like I couldn't wake up. I think my neck felt stiff. I was more focused on the fact that my back and chest hurt. I also remember having a bruise on my hip that I didn't remember getting. Update. So if any of you were interested, you were right. My mom's boyfriend was trying to groom me. Apparently, for as much as my family said I was overreacting by turning down his gift, my mom didn't like that he yelled at me. Apparently, while she was pushing him for answers about why he got me something so expensive in the first place, he said something she thought was suspicious. Turns out he only started dating her because my mom had a picture of her, my older sister, and me on her dating profile, and he wanted to get to me. Which is creepy. She said she's taking that picture off her profile now, but also she's not going to go on dates for a while, which I definitely feel bad about. I can't help but feel like it's my fault. But yeah, that's the update. Thank you guys for being so nice, even if you thought I was being a little stupid. I hadn't really learned much about predators before now. Edit. People keep bringing it up, so maybe some of you can give me advice. In a comment, I mentioned him watching me one weekend by himself and sleeping through most of it. Some of you guys are thinking he drugged me and did something because I only got tired after he made me lunch, and I woke up sore. Should I actually tell my mom? I don't really see why it matters considering it happened like 2 weeks ago. And I don't think I could prove anything anyway. Relevant comments. Thick, hip, tight lips. OP, this is not your fault at all. You are never responsible for anyone else's predatory behavior. Thank goodness your mom chose her kids and didn't keep that arsey hole around. Always trust your instinct. It will never steer you wrong. I'm so glad you're safe and he's gone. OP. I didn't doubt that my mom would choose me and my sister. The whole situation just makes me sad. Benos 0526. If your mom has stopped dating him, he may still try to get to you by showing up at your school or any activities you are involved in. If he shows up at your school, let the people in the office know and let your mom know. If he comes to your house and your mom's not home, don't let him in. Call the police if he won't leave. Be careful. Trashtala. OP, please tell your mom about the weekend he watched you. I don't know for sure if he did anything, but the fact that you weren't tired until he gave you something is a red flag. Not to mention, you said you were sore when you woke up. Please tell your mom. She did the right thing by breaking it off and getting him away from you. But there are consequences to his actions that no offense intended in this statement a child shouldn't have to go through. OP. My mom gets home in less than an hour. I guess I'll talk to her then. Gragu_you. OP, I'm sorry this happened to you, but please tell your mom about this. As everyone said, get checked for STIs, etc. I really hope he was just checking the drug on you like what the other Redditor said without doing anything to you. I don't know if he can actually be charged or anything, but I'd report him anyway because that man is a predator. Who drugged kids? I'm sure it's not his first time chasing grooming underage girls. Probably there are moms out there who dated him before that experienced the same thing. Anyway, thanks for being brave and telling your story. Murky_government_29. I was scrolling for some reaction about edit 2. This needs to be upvoted. OP, you described a gut feeling about this guy. And as a random Redditor, I get a huge gut feeling about the details you described from the weekend. You are not sure if something happened, and I think maybe you want to be sure. You can inform the police hospital and ask for a medical exam to get answers. Maybe there is some kind of blood test to check if there are traces of any drugs. You can consider an examination by a gynecologist. Maybe they can see if something happened in that area. Then you can ask if an STD and pregnancy test are recommended. Sorry for the language. English is not my first language. Last but not least, OP, I'm very, very proud of you. You did incredibly well. Please keep talking with your mom about how you feel. Nothing is her or your fault. You two are stronger than this creep. Update 2. I don't know if this will be my last update or not, but I wanted to post it because of how many of you seemed worried about me. I told my mom. It was really hard. I want to say I was brave about it, but I cried a lot and was really scared. I could barely actually say it out loud, so I showed her my Reddit post and what you guys were saying. She told me that I shouldn't trust strangers on the internet, but that she agreed that what happened the weekend he was checking in on me was weird. She took me to the ER right after I told her, even though it's really not an emergency. I don't really understand everything that the doctors did, so please forgive me if I say anything wrong. They made me do a blood test and a urine test, and they took some of my hair because they said that some drugs can be detectable for a few weeks after. The urine test came back already, and it was confusing because at first they said it was PCP. But then they said that they did another test, and apparently there are traces of ketamine, so I don't really know if that means I tested positive for both, or if it was only ketamine. I mean, I've never taken either of those things, so he definitely drugged me, though they said he probably gave me something else too, because how I described it didn't seem like ketamine, but I don't really know what that means. Anyway, I guess we're waiting to see if anything else comes back. They also did a pelvic exam and some ultrasound thing. I don't remember what they called it. They said there was trauma, so I was either roped or assaulted in some way. I am, or was, I guess, a virgin, so there's no debate there. I also don't exactly know how they can tell, but obviously it's their job, so I don't really feel any way about it. But the social worker they brought in said I'm probably in shock. I told them I had gotten my period afterwards with bad cramps, but they told me that it was probably not actually my period and just me bleeding from it. But yeah, that's where we're at. I'm still in the hospital currently. I don't really know why, but I am. I'm at least staying till tomorrow apparently. They want me to meet with a psychologist, and they were talking about starting me on some medication. As for police, they've been contacted, but my mom isn't telling me much. I had to answer so many questions earlier. Thank you guys for being so nice. I probably would have never known what happened if someone didn't point it out. I don't know how exactly I feel about that, because maybe it would have been nicer to not know. But still, thanks. I'm also sorry if this post doesn't make sense. I don't really feel like myself. Relevant comments. Business_monkeys7. I am relieved that the police are involved, and that your mom is protecting you. So many of us can't believe this could happen to our family. But it is out there. Remember that none of this is your fault. OP. Thank you. I'm just so tired at this point. I don't know what I'm feeling anymore. It doesn't feel real at all. Usual Archer 916. When I was sod, I felt no emotion. Looking back decades later, I was in shock. So what you are feeling makes sense. Just tell your therapist what you told us. OP. Yeah, I'm feeling noticeably more this morning. Mainly anxiety. I feel bad. I woke up with a panic attack and scared the nurses because my heart rate alarm went off. Mocha lattes. Sweetheart, I just want to say virginity is a concept constructed by people. If you don't count it or remember it, then you can absolutely still be a virgin. If you want to talk about the hymen breaking, then that can happen for a million different reasons. My cousin's broke during horseback riding. Mine while I was playing a sport. Your hymen breaking doesn't mean SHT. You never willingly had SX, so you are still a virgin. I hope you find some peace and a therapist. Tell your mom you want her to talk to someone too. Jazzy_B. In response to someone who was a CSA survivor, a Redditor wrote that virginity cannot be taken, but only given. I thought that was lovely and true. Hey Apollo 1963. I'm so thankful to see this update and know that you and your mom have taken steps in the right direction. Please don't be shy about asking questions when you don't understand things, like your test results. It's the job of doctors, nurses, and other medical professionals to explain things to their patients in a way that the patient will understand. Without any medical training, few of us understand medical jargon. Ask them to write things down for you, even if you prefer. Just ask these professionals to make everything clear to both you and your mom. Please also don't be shy about telling the psychologist, social worker, and police officers everything, too. The more information they have, the better they'll be able to help you. No doubt you're tired and might feel icky and gross about all this, but you will definitely come through as a stronger person. Update 3. Just a short post to my account, because I don't want to keep posting stuff to Ada. And this isn't a big one or anything. I was discharged from the hospital and am currently heading home. My mom had my uncle check the house for cameras this morning, as suggested. Thankfully, he didn't find anything. I think I'm going to stop posting updates about everything. I'm not feeling like myself, and I am quite tired of the people PMing me to tell me I'm lying. I effing wish I was lying to you. For all the questions people keep asking. No, I hadn't been taught much about child predators before this. I was taught stranger danger, and to not let an adult touch my privates, and that's it. Maybe I'm an idiot for not learning more before. I mean, how dare I assume I was safe, right? I can't change it now, though, and I know more now than I ever wish I had to. I don't know why my mom posted a picture of all of us on a dating app. Yes, all of us realize now it was dumb. I don't know why he outright admitted it. As I've said, I wasn't there for the conversation, and I just know what my mom told me about it. For those of you who are getting annoyed about the urine drug test thing, I did ask my doctor this morning about it because I was curious too. He said they have had people test positive for ketamine in urine up to 14 days after taking it. The weekend I keep talking about was the 26th 27th, which was 19 days ago, I guess technically not 2 full weeks ago, so apparently plausible. He also said the PCP was a false positive. The only positive I currently have is ketamine. I'm sorry if I'm being aggressive. I've been bouncing between crying and lashing out this morning, and I'm just so effing tired. The therapist was nice. I have an outpatient appointment scheduled with a different one in a week. The nurses and doctors were really nice. Apparently they did an STI panel with the blood they took, but they're still waiting on results. But yeah, that's all the updates you'll get, probably for a long while, if I ever update again. I really want to thank those of you who've been nice to me and have given me advice. Relevant comments. Mysterious_book 8747. Hugs, a digital detox is definitely not a bad idea. Thinking of you and praying for you. Radian_mention_5theme155. As someone who went through something similar, it is not your fault. I hope you are able to find peace as you move forward in life. If you are in the Office of the Victim's Advocate can help you get counseling to deal with your feelings. It took me a long time to admit I needed help dealing with everything, and I didn't expect it to help, but it made a huge difference to help me cope with everything. Update 4. Hi everyone. I know I said I wasn't planning on updating again, or at least not for a while, but I did think some of you would appreciate the update, and I'm in a bit better of a place now. I think I've finally come to terms with what happened, for the most part anyway. So last we left off, I had just left the hospital after finding out my mom's ex had drugged and sawed me when he'd watched me over the weekend. I'm also going to give some warning that this is probably going to be pretty TMI because, I haven't really wanted to talk with people Earl about this. For those of you who were worried about STDs, apparently he gave me chlamydia. The doctors told me it was a thing that not everyone has obvious symptoms. Apparently, so it's not weird I didn't know. Which is super weird, because I always assumed STDs hurt really bad. But anyway, I got antibiotics, so all should be good. I also had my first ever appointment with an OB-GYN, which was weird. She did say there shouldn't be any permanent issues from this, which apparently was a concern of the hospital doctor because of how severe the damage seemed like a week plus out. As for the people who talked about him maybe trying to approach me at school, my mom alerted the school about him. He hasn't shown up at my school or anything, but sometimes I swear I see his car. My therapist, who I've already had 4 appointments with, crazy, said that I should be aware, but that it's more than likely not him, and that it's my anxiety. The police were involved for a while, but they said that without DNA evidence, they couldn't technically prove it was him. I don't know how true that is, but my mom said some very mean words about them, so I'm assuming it was not a great conversation. So I guess we just have to move forward on our own. My mom is no longer on any dating apps. It's gotten more and more obvious to me how guilty she feels, but I think she's slowly starting to act more normal with me and my sister again. She also got a gun and has been working on her aim at the shooting range. Kinda crazy, cause she's always hated guns, but when I asked, she just cursed out the police. I don't really know how to take that, so I'm just rolling with it. I'm sure Thanksgiving is going to be weird because basically everyone knows what happened now. But worst case scenario, I'm going to hide from everyone in my bedroom since we're hosting. I'm kind of worried about someone making a comment about it, especially since maybe some of you guessed it, because of how little I really knew about SX and predators and stuff. But a lot of my family is super religious. I'm just worried they'll make comments about me being impure or something. I hope not, though. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Things are mostly normal again. Just a bit more therapy, anxiety, and knowledge about SX and sexual predators. Thank you to all of you who have been really kind to me. It's been a weird few weeks. I started painting again yesterday, though, so maybe I'm getting back to being me. Relevant comments. Phantasmal_Dragonian. If anyone says anything like you're impure, they are not family. Tell your mom, and I'm sure she'll agree. That gun is in case he ever shows his face again. And your mom is straight up doing whatever it takes to try to help you hold on to any innocence that you still have left. Treasure that feeling. Lean into knowing the strength of that love, and that will likely be your best way forward with this. If this happened to my daughter, I'd be in jail, and her mom would be alone, but the monster would be gone. Your mom has to fight the monster off and still be there, and that's so much harder. Ancient Canopies. First, I can't tell you how sorry I am. But my comment is just to let you know something I haven't seen anyone mentioning. People go through hard stuff and get blame, so they internalize that it was their fault. Then they see someone else get hurt, and the part in them that was hurt and blamed before cannot stand it, so they blame the victim again. Because not doing so would mean that they have been wronged all this time. And this hurts more than acting like an I'm not saying this to justify their actions, but to explain that they happen, and there's a reason. But they are clearly wrong. If your family makes such comments about you, you don't have to pretend they aren't being idiots. Let them know. But don't commit the same mistakes I did in my first 30 years of life, which was to defend myself externally, but internally accept their words. I was always a brat to my religious family, and I always clapped back. But after many years of therapy, I realized there were two parts of me. The intellectual knew they were wrong. The emotional wanted them to accept me. It's a crazy thing, this mind of ours. Beautiful and frightening at the same time. It can be your best coach in life or your biggest enemy. I assure you that anyone who says you're impure or any other garbage like that is really in a fight with their own mind. They live in fear and act as if they belong to a greater cause. But that is just because, again, reality can hurt, and they're not willing to face it. We all have stories. We all project our shadows onto others, and we all get influenced by the shadows of one another. But you don't have to take it in. Awareness makes all the difference. You notice the thought feeling, and you question it. Many times you'll see you don't actually believe it. But even when you know you don't believe it, take some time to be your own therapist and hear yourself. I do this by writing letters without thinking, just writing. Because you too have both minds, the intellectual and the emotional, and both deserve to be heard and cared for. Your mom is doing great. She made a mistake by putting your picture, but it was out of ignorance, not knowing. You did nothing wrong. You didn't have to have been prepared or anything like that. The fault is entirely on the predator's shoulders. He needs to be locked up. I think it's great that you're painting again. And I think that whatever you feel like you need to do, that's your way of healing. Trust your intuition to guide you to the best decisions. Sometimes it is working with a therapist. Sometimes it is distracting yourself with some show. You have all the time you need. And at some point, the bad feelings will be just like a TV turned on in another room on a rainy day. You'll barely notice it there, if you notice it at all. Second story. Cheating mom divorced my father after getting caught, got my custody, married her affair partner, introduced him as my stepfather, and forced a relationship. Then said my father deserved the pain, believing I don't know about her cheating, so I lashed out. Before we start, yes, I think I know enough. I'll tell you the context. I am 16 years old. You could say that I had a formal family, but there was only one detail: my mother. She is 43 years old and always seemed to be busy. If I wasn't at work, I was at the gym. And if she was at home, she was in the kitchen, her cave, glued to her phone. I'm not saying I'm a careless person, okay? Not for me, because she was attentive and considerate with my younger sisters, ages 9 and 7. Returning to the topic. 2 years ago, she became more careful with her things, hiding her phone and other things. Some people already knew where he went. One day, when my dad came back from picking up my little sister, she hadn't prepared lunch. She wasn't even home. At the end of 2022, it was Christmas, just the 5 of us. My sisters and I were watching Home Alone when we heard them arguing. But it wasn't like any other argument. As I wrote before, My mother became more careless, which angered my father. And I think that's fair. He works as an engineer and goes out from morning to night. My mother is a teacher and comes home in the afternoon. So I think he deserved at least a kiss on the cheek. But he didn't even get that from her. I never thought my mother would cheat on my father, but she did. She went down the stairs crying and got into her car. Who knows where he went? My sisters, of course, were younger and more innocent then. And let's not deny it, I was too. They knew nothing and understood nothing. I went to talk to my dad, but he was crying in bed, holding my mom's phone. I don't know what happened to me, if it was curiosity or stupidity, but I saw the phone and I froze. The image of my mother naked with another man on top, kissing, is still in my head. And then, well, you know what happened. The divorce was finalized in August of last year. I don't know how. Maybe I'm ignorant, but custody was shared, and we would live with my mother. The worst thing was that earlier this year, in March, my mother married her lover. What the hell is going through your head? Honestly, I hate her. But I hate my stepfather more. Try to influence my sisters. They don't know anything. I'm the only one who knows, the only one who is in therapy because of what I saw. He treats my sisters as if they were his own. Post photos of them on your Instagram, at the beach or in the parks. For some reason, he pays more attention to them. Right now he is having a birthday party with my younger sister. He buys her clothes and everything. My dad tries to keep up with him, but his job earns the same or more than my stepfather's. In the end, I don't care anymore. I just want what's fair for my father. Whoever tells me I'm a loser who knows nothing, I don't care. I saw what I saw, and that's more than enough. I know what my mother did to my father. The divorce process was hell. I don't care now. In a few years I will leave home, but what do I do with my younger sisters? A few days ago, I couldn't stand being angry anymore. I wanted to tell my mother how I felt, how that bastard, my stepfather, treated my sisters. He didn't want them to forget his real father. But instead of understanding my situation, as I expected from my own mother, she simply scolded me. He told me to get used to it, that this was the new life, that my father didn't deserve my sisters for being here for so long. But he did it. He loved girls even if they weren't his. He said that I was acting on behalf of my father, that he corrupted me, and that I should respect my stepfather. Now his words still echo in my head. I don't give a damn. Like I said, I'll be leaving in a few years, but not out of town. I want to be with my sisters. At least talk to them. They are still small. In a few days I will go out with my father, and there's no way I can contain the urge to tell him. But in general, I didn't come to comment for myself, but because I'm worried about my sisters. I feel like my stepfather influences them more and more. My father pays for her schools, my younger sister's dance classes, and my older sister's art classes. Update. Hello community. Thank you very much for the comments on my previous post. They help me see a goal. For now, I am my father's carrier pigeon. As I reflected in the previous post. And yes, I told him how things are with my mother. He told me that for now. So I keep in touch with him. He is seeing a lawyer to see what he can do. I don't know anything about laws, so I could expect anything. Now, regarding the house, my stepfather. He continues to treat my sisters as if they were his daughters. Now, he bought them a drawing kit, and he uploads to his TikTok every drawing they make. But the funny thing, and the reason why I make an update, he took me to a step with my sisters. Not to any park. No. But to the effing Universal Park. For obvious reasons. Everything was suspicious. Of all the walks with my sisters, this was the most expensive. Right with me. The stepson who obviously disliked him. He takes him on the most expensive ride. But it doesn't end there. The trip, which, by the way, was the whole family. While my mother was buying things at the Quick E-Mart with my sisters, my stepfather and I waited for them outside. QF, for obvious reasons, it was uncomfortable. The guy changed his attitude. From being distant with me, to create the image of a loving father. When he told me, I don't know what went through his head, but out of nowhere, he asked me for forgiveness. That he was aware of how he treated me before. That he was sorry for what he did to my father. But he loved my mother and my sisters, and he dropped a bomb on me. He was like, he's sterile and always wanted to have children. For that reason, he loved us so much, and he saw that I didn't have feelings for him. Sure. Since I'm the only idiot who saw him having sex with my mother on the sly. And he told me he would do anything to have a good relationship with me. That he would have my father too. but he told me that he would love for me to consider it as my second dad. There was no shortage of reasons, but I held back. I held back the urge to tell him and his SHTTY speech to go to hell. But the doubt of knowing where it would lead was greater, so I told him I would think about it. Now I'm in Diagon Alley having a Harry Potter butterbeer with my sisters next door, filling up with pumpkin juice. As always, using Reddit as my sewer to vent. Update. Hello Reddit. Thank you so much for the support and recommendations from the people who took the time to read my story. I should assume this might be the last, or one of the last updates I make here. Back to the topic. I recently had an argument with my mother. I would like to call it a simple discussion, but failed. First, she was calm, according to her. Reasons why she cheated and lied to my father with my stepfather. By the way, bullshit reasons. It was like being in a gas chamber, and it kept filling up with more and more gas. Or I don't know how to say it. But after giving my point of view, things started to get out of control, going from soft words to yelling, saying she was tired of everything, that she was tired of my sisters asking about my father, that they would like to see him. And that's it. I'm not going to lie. I didn't know what to think. That woman, who used to hold me in her arms, and sometimes we would sneak out to take a walk in the park. Now she treated me like SHT and yelled at me. I almost cried. I don't want to remember those words. Now, finally, I'm alone in my room. Nobody in the house. I broke down. And I asked myself something that had never crossed my mind before. Should I leave? Is it worth staying? I think I'm trying to guide my sisters. They are the only reason I'm still thinking about staying. I know I'll have to wait months. As I'm going to college next year, I haven't decided yet. And I guess that's all that's left. Well, is all this worth it for my sisters? Update. Hi people of Reddit. Now the only thing I can say is thank you for all the support received, and even more so for your recommendations. But these months that I didn't upload anything, they were a good thing. Believe. I think I mentioned this in a previous post. I honestly don't remember. My cell phone is getting worse, and it doesn't charge anything. But I got a job as a video editor. Although I only do it between my school and my classmates. It's good since I got around $750 in 2 months. I don't think I got that amount either. But back to the main topic. I've been so busy that I miss time at home. I've been so involved in the additions, I didn't even know that my mother was trying to get an increase in child support since my father received an increase. Also, these last few weeks have been an effing drama. Just recently, my aunt from my dad's side came to the house. She never got along with my mother. And as some see coming, it was all arguments and shouting. Context. My mother has imposed that both I and my little sister spend Christmas and New Year with her family. And even when my father was not there, she basically forbade it. My aunt. She was my second mother. When there were no babysitters, there she was. It has nothing to do with it. But when my little sister was born, my mother was so weak that she couldn't even get up. But my aunt took her and breastfed her. Back to the topic. That was it. And other things were what angered my aunt. And all my father's family. In the end, my aunt left with tears in her eyes. And the house was full of broken plates and glasses. And as you can imagine, now I am with my sisters at my grandmother's house. My mother's family. In case you ask. My mother's family doesn't ask or talk about anything. But I know they feel uncomfortable. Especially my grandmother. Even my sister told me that grandma felt weird with the stepfather. It's all very heavy. And you know something? What I suspected at first has come true. My stepfather's son of a b is a effing liar. I don't know the truth. The first time I saw him, he was right. But my mother announced the day after Christmas that she was pregnant. My sisters were somewhat shocked. The family softened that having a baby at that age was a dangerous thing to do. But his own words have said that he doesn't care. And for me, well, I don't know how to say it. A few hours after the SHTTY news, I threw up everything about Christmas. I felt cold. I don't know why. A sharp pain in my chest. Now, seeing them both. One a monkey caressing his belly, and the other Dubby enjoying herself. As if nothing had happened. It disgusts me. I just have to watch. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know whether to cry, scream, and I don't think I'll get their attention that way. I don't know how I'll get through these holidays. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.